And welcome back to TVS Presents Sport Magazine on Radio. I'm John Daly. This part of the show is brought to you by Nooz, which is spelled N-O-O-Z. Want to be an on-camera reporter with your own channel? Then check out Nooz at nooz.tv. Okay, let's go to Pinehurst. This is a bucket list for anyone who plays golf and wants to play the great courses of the world. Kim Briele knows Pinehurst like a second home. She's a champion amateur golfer, a former sportscaster, and she currently owns LCA Advertising in New Bern, North Carolina. LCA helps high school athletes find the right college athletic program, and LCA made it possible for Kim and I to broadcast from Pinehurst during the North-South Amateur. Kim, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me, John.
Always great to have you here. So how many times have you actually been to Pinehurst?
Oh, I can't. So many times I can't count them. How's that?
That's a good thing to have happen to you. The recent North-South Amateur just finished, and that was around July 4th. We should note that Pinehurst is open during the pandemic, and they are practicing safety. Would you suggest to people still to go down there at this time?
Absolutely. I was there not too long ago, and they are definitely practicing safety measures at the resort. I felt very safe. They've got plenty of golf carts. You can have your own cart, and they're allowing people to walk and push a cart, which is kind of unprecedented to see that out there at that resort. But, I felt very safe.
So you and I played Pinehurst number 2, and I actually produced a segment for Undercover Jet Center. Now, what's so cool is how number 2 has changed throughout the years. Talk about how it's gone back to the original Donald Ross.
Yeah, so I played golf at University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill from 79 to 83. And what was unique about that experience as a Division I athlete playing golf is that Pinehurst back in the time, those years, allowed anybody on the golf team to just show up, grab a cart, and go play whichever course you wanted to play at no charge. So they really supported us. So in 1981, 82, we were playing the North-South Amateur, and they had the men's and the women's 1 week, one right after the other. And so we had gotten a house, and we were there playing on number 2, and we got to play number 2 every single round. And you would play 2-day qualifying, and then you go into match play all the way down till you had a champion. So we'd spend all week there. And the old course of Donald Ross, it was a lot wider. You still had the love grass, that long wiry stuff that is in the sandy areas, which they call waste areas. And it was a little more forgiving than it is now. When they came back in with the redesign, they tightened up the fairways. Now, the fairways are more plush, I believe, than back in the 80s, and late 70s and 80s when I played it. And the grass is great, and it's thicker, and it's more plush, but they have drawn those fairways in tighter. So accuracy is a premium.
All right, so give me some more of your advice on how to play number 2, and I have a feeling you're going to talk about the greens.
Oh, absolutely. Everybody that watched the U.S. Open years ago, I can't remember what year it was, when John Daly was so frustrated that he just putted it off the green. These greens are lightning fast. They're dome. They're the traditional Donald Ross design where you have the turtleback. So a flop shot, a pitch shot is usually not a good idea on Pinehurst number 2. If you're, 20 feet, 30 feet off the green, down below, even short-sighted, you're going to want to putt that ball. Or use a hybrid and use the putting stroke with a hybrid to stay in control of the shot. I have seen people that are on the green, 3 and 4 putt, and they'll put it right off the green, especially hole number 5, I believe. Hole number 5 is it is so dangerous on the left side all the way down that hole. So on number 5 in particular, you need to stay to the right side of the green.
I remember it well. That's for sure. This is a
Did you cut it
TVS
off?
presents. Oh yeah, this is TVS presents Sport Magazine on radio. I'm John Daly. We're talking with Kim Briele about heading to Pinehurst. You can go to pinehurst.com for more information. Now, Kim is a champion amateur golfer in North Carolina. She also owns LCA Advertising in New Bern, North Carolina, that has broadcast from Pinehurst as well. Her website is lcaadvertising.com. All right, now let's talk about some other courses. There are 9 courses down there at Pinehurst. Now, I rate number 8 almost as good as number 2. I think it's as difficult to putt on as what you were just talking about. One, do you agree with that? And give me what your other favorites are.
Oh, I agree with Pinehurst. Number 8 is a Champions golf course. That's where a lot of the collegiate tournaments are held, is on number 8. Great test of golf. I like number 5. I think 5 is fun. It's approachable. It's easy to score. It's just a fun golf course. Number 7, it's a little different. I do like 7. I do like 9. But I'd have to say that number 4, I was going to say something about number 4. I have actually never played number 4. And this new redesign, I have some friends that are homeowners there, and they're also members, and they're telling me that number 4, they like the new design, and then they don't. There's a 50-50 there on. They're like, oh, I like number 4 the way it was before they went in there and dug it up. I'm anxious to go play it. I hear it's beautiful, and it really mirrors course number 2, they said.
So I think what we have to do is, since they redid number 4, I think it's begging for another segment of Undercover Jet Setter. So I think we need to go down there, and we need to do that.
Yeah, no question. I'll go right along with you.
And again, this is TVS Presents Sport Magazine on radio. I'm John Daly. We're talking to Kim Briele about heading to Pinehurst. Kim is a championship amateur golfer in North Carolina. She owns LCA Advertising in New Bern. Her website is lcaadvertising.com. Now, when you go down there, where would you stay? Would you recommend staying at the Carolina Hotel?
You know, that's nice. But I'm more of the kind that likes to get some of those cottages there at the Pinecrest Inn. You know, the Pinecrest Inn was our old stomping grounds when we were in college, and it just has that rustic feel of being in Pinehurst. So, you know, the Pinecrest Inn is really a special treat. They have some cottages across the way that you can, you know, have 4 or 5 or a group of even 10 or 12. High school golf teams would rent the cottages across from the Pinecrest Inn and stay there. So I kind of like getting off on my own in a, you know, kind of a private condo or townhouse or cottage.
Now, the village of Pinehurst is actually really cool too. I mean, there's a lot of places to walk around and go have a, you know, maybe a bite to eat, have a drink or something like that. Let me ask you this: when you were there recently, were most of the places in the village of Pinehurst, were they open?
You know, we didn't venture into the town, and it was pretty much in phase 1, so I'm not sure if they were open yet. But as we, you know, merge into, you know, phase 2, phase 3, hopefully here soon. If you get to Pinehurst, there's some great art galleries down there with some of the historical paintings and prints of golf around the world. It's really a great place for families or just, you know, a golfing group to walk around downtown, because you can walk from the Carolina Hotel all the way downtown. You can walk from the country club downtown. Everything is right there at your fingertips.
Now, I must admit, I've probably been down to Pinehurst, I'm going to guess, probably close to 10 times. And when you and I were having this conversation before we were going on the air here, you mentioned that there's harness racing there, and I had to look it up, and I didn't realize harness racing was there. And you've actually seen them at least practicing, right? Oh,
yeah. If you've never had the chance to go to the track where they practice, and they do this in the summertime. You know, Southern Pines is well known for horses and horseback riding and the harness racing right there at the track. They have a place called the Track Restaurants where all the jockeys, when they get up early, will go get, you know, some good breakfast. Well, the golfers through the years have learned that they can swing over there at 6 o'clock in the morning and get some great eggs, bacon, pancakes, scrapple, whatever you think of for breakfast food. It has history behind it because when they had the Hall of Fame tournament there years ago at Pinehurst number 2, the pros would go in there. Way back when, Bobby Jones, Arnold Palmer, all of them ate in this track restaurant, and they had menus. And the pros would sign them. They would autograph the tables. And in the late 70s, early 80s, you could go in there and see all the memorabilia. Since then, it has been, it has turned over. There's new ownership, and the previous owners took all their memorabilia with them. But the history of whose feet have landed in that little restaurant, it's a fantastic place just to go in there and get some breakfast and watch the harness racing. It's amazing to watch, the horses run with that little harness, the harness racing behind. I had never seen it.
Wow, I'm the travel guy, and you gave me tips. That's great. So would you suggest people just go down there for 3 days, or would you suggest a full week, or what would be the weighing of which one would you decide?
I think it depends on how much you love the game. If you are a golf buff and you just can't get enough golf, you're one of those guys that, you wake up and you're like 36 today, tomorrow, and the next day, I'd stay a week. If you're busy and you still work or whatever, 3 days, you can get your fill in Pinehurst with 3 days of golf.
Wow. And best places, if people are listening and they're not from the area, probably the best place to fly into would be Raleigh, correct?
Absolutely. It's under an hour from Raleigh to get to Pinehurst.
All right, perfect. Well, we're going to have you back on again so we can talk about broadcasting from Pinehurst and also broadcasting golf events, which you have the ability to do. So I'm going to have you back on again.
Would love to do it, John. It's always great talking with you.
Always great talking to you, too. We've been talking to Kim Briele. She's a champion amateur golfer in North Carolina. Her company is LCA Advertising in New Bern, North Carolina. Her website is lcaadvertising.com. Kim, thanks again for the insight. We're going to have you back.
All right. Thanks, John.
All right. Talk to you soon. Now, if you want to see Undercover Jet Setter and the segment we did on Pinehurst number 2, that includes Kim, just go to youtube.com/undercoverjetsetter and punch in Pinehurst. All right, boxing fans, tune in to the TVS Boxing Network, 70 years of TV boxing from 1950 to today for free. Ali, Frazier, Liston, Foreman, all on the TVS Boxing Network. Watch now at tvstvnetworks.com. And when we come back, our trivia answer, and we're going to look ahead to sports.